Welcome to another Donger deck discussion with the resident deck builder from the Dongers of Runeterra, my good self, and I am Sith Holocron. How are you all keeping? Hope everything is going well in your world, because the world is a very crazy and dangerous place at the minute, so stay safe, everybody. Play games, save the planet. All good. So, got a DM from another Discord, not our Donger of Runeterra one, but from a different Discord, where I, for a challenge, had been asked to put like the two worst champions together in one deck, and oh god, it was bad, like awful. But I picked somebody's interest, and they went, "Can you actually make a TryndaLux deck with somebody good?" I was like, "Oh, okay." So for in Freljord, then who to pair? Who to pair with this geezer? So, welcome to TryndaLux, and we went Demacia. And the deck's almost a 50-50 split, almost. What you should see over here is that we're not running any 0 or any 1 drops at all. Like, not a bit, not even close. You can't play anything till round 2. Like, you can't. And the only thing that you can play unit-wise, we've only got 2 of. But we do have tricks up our sleeves for the late game. We are playing this mid-range late. That's what we're doing. Our first unit is the Mage Seeker Persuader. Now, this is an interesting card. He gets +1/+1 and Challenger once you've cast a 6-cost spell this game. Now that is interesting. Right, now, I mean, that is seriously interesting, because we are going to be casting lots of spells that will put him up. And the fact that then he gets Challenger and becomes a 4/3 for 2 mana is worth the wait to be pretty good. There are little bits of me wants to put Omenhawk in here, but if we know Omenhawk's okay. I mean, he's far better than okay, actually. It's a great flying feathered thing. But we have better things than Omenhawk in this deck. So, let me show you what the thought process is behind this deck. If you're playing in the EU, you will notice that there's an awful lot of They Who Endures. So we've put in a Purify, which is silence a follower. So if they put this huge thing down, yep, for 2 mana, you make it a 1/1 again. Just like that. So it's an anti-endure thing. If you play against Shadow Eyes and they have Neverglades or Pranksters, or something really annoying, you can silence followers. You can silence the 4/3, back down to a 1/1. There's lots of things you can do, but it is predominantly for endure. So that's what that is for. If you've seen me build a Demacia deck, single combat is just fantastic, and it is an automatic 3-off, and there aren't an awful lot of 3s in this deck. It's a bit 3-2-1-y without it being champions-wise, but kind of cool nonetheless. We will struggle early doors with protecting our Nexus, and the Kindly Tavern Keeper for 3, having a 3/3, he's a decent unit to block and attack with, and is just a good, solid card. Healing an ally, but predominantly your Nexus for 3 health, is invaluable early game. I mean, it's just so good. That is why he is a 3-of. Speaking of going back to 2s of, this card gets played a little and is starting to become a little bit more prevalent in the meta, and I've come across it a few times, and I've decided to try a couple on it. So the fact that we have Lux, to level Lux, we've got to do at least 1 6-cost spell in the game. If she is on the board and still alive, you get this, which is an ally capturing a unit. That's amazing. You can take every big, horrible thing you want to go. So you're leveled Braum, you're leveled Misfortune, you're leveled Swajana, you're leveled Anivia, and it just handcuffs it to whatever unit you want. Normally, the one with the most amount of health. That's really good, because when the ally that you have dies, that unit escapes and goes back to them, which is not a very nice thing to happen. So it's not. But you do get this spell for 3. I'm only running 2 of the Investigator. But we need spell mana. Spell mana it's a big, big thing. And right here we have Wording Stones. Round start, you get an extra mana gem this round. So say you've played out a few cards, say by round 2 or 3, and you have 1 left, nothing to use it with. It becomes a spell mana. You drop this down, and the next turn you get an extra spell mana. So every single turn you're doing it, to maximize its value, you really only want to be holding 3. It's got 4, so you're getting more spell production, and I think it's quite a good card, actually. But again, not good enough in my opinion to be running 3 of them, so we are only running just the 2. Avalanche, I'm starting to fall in love with. Wouldn't probably play too many if you're up against an Endure. I mean, it's like a mini Ruination, really. I mean, it's pretty good. If you're playing against a Nivea and it goes down to the egg because you've managed to kill it, well, that's a good way of getting rid of it altogether to stop that regen nonsense from Freljord, because that is just one of the most stupid characters in the game. Effective, but very, very silly. So the fact that the egg goes to 0-1, that'll kill it all off, which is kind of good. And then we go to my favorite 5-drop in the game, which is the Hearthguard. Every ally in your deck, and remember, we have 21 to 19, just like we have 21 to 19 here. Everything's given +1 power, +1 health right through your deck. That you can play that on turn 5. Speaking of turn 5, this card is superb. Oh, this card is superb, and almost became a 3-of. Almost. But it didn't make the cut. And the reason it didn't make the cut is because you get an empty mana gem and heal your Nexus 3, but it costs 5. And that's a lot. But it's again producing mana for spell casting and a heal. So is that worth the extra 2 mana? Well, you've probably banked enough mana through Warding Stones and this to be able to go, it breaks even, which is why we're only having 2. Spells that are fantastic, mind you, is this. Concerted Strike, you pick 2 allies and you whack something. Well, if you've got something with, I don't know, an awful lot of kind of good health, like the Hearthguard, which is a 5/5, and then even, let's put this another way, even that is a 3, you're doing 8 damage. I mean, you're just doing 8 damage, that's a 3. But as you get deeper through the deck, you find out that you're normally, when you use this, when you use Concerted Strike, is to get rid of something that absolutely has to go, which is such a good card. You do have single combat for early threats. It's not bad across the board anyway, but there's an awful lot of things that sometimes it's going to take 2, and even if you lose 2, you're probably happy with the trade, which is why, again, not a 3-of, but a very solid 2. Things will die in this deck, like in every single deck. There is no undying proper deck. They die. And they're gone. And here is where your lifesteal tough Radiant Guardian shines like a star. A cornerstone of most Demacia decks. This is just superb and an instant 3 of. Now, I was thinking of putting a lot more Demacia cards in this and decided against it. Simply because I think Radiant Guardian overall is a far better card for 1 mana more. And combining the Hearthguard also at 5 and a Radiant Guardian, you can get a Radiant Guardian out at 6, which is that's backbreaking for your opponent. And then we get to the nitty gritty of what this actually is. So, Harsh Winds, 6-cost spell, will instantly level Lux. Remember, when you play Lux, she comes out with a barrier. That's going to be turn 6. In turn 7, you can frostbite 2 enemies and then get your Spark of Hope, which is this beautiful thing, and deal 4 to an enemy. And this, in combination with TryndaLux, is actually doing really, really, really well in testing. I forgot how good Lux is, and these guys seem to work really well together. We also have an early doors problem. So as I said at the beginning of the video, do not worry about round 1. You can't do anything. If, for instance, you don't get a Mage Seeker, you can't really purify anything good on 2, and you can't single combat anything on 2. So where we're probably going for is round 3. So say round 1, pass. Round 2, you now have 3, pass. Round 3, you now have 6. Welcome, welcome to Lux's favourite spell, Remembrance. So it costs 1 less for each ally that died this round. Summon a random 5-cost follower from Demacia. You ready to see what you can get for a round 3? You can get the Greatthorn Companion, which is a 5/5 Scout. Another Radiant Guardian. You can get one of those. You can get the Swift Wing Lancer, which is a 5/4 Challenger and then creates a random elite from Demacia in hand. That's madness. And if that isn't good enough, the one thing that people hate almost as much as a Radiant Guardian is the Vanguard Cavalry, because it's got soft, so it's a 5/6. What? That's brilliant. Every single one of those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards are brilliant. They all have 5 power. Some only have 4. Some have 6. Brilliant card. If you can play that, turn 3, do it. Because these will do damage. They will scout. They can get something out. But they're healthy. They're beefy units. Which leaves us to TryndaLux, who for 8 mana is just ridiculous. So kill him, please. Please kill him. Because when you kill him, he turns into a 9/9. Not only with the overwhelm that he starts off with, he's also fearsome. Now, the fearsome bit doesn't really... this would have probably been better if he was fearsome at the start and then gained overwhelm. That would have been a lot more thematic, to be honest, because that guy, the art is kind of like, okay, there go all the spears and the arrows and all that sort of stuff, because he's a big boy, so that's probably why he starts with overwhelm. But the fact that he's got all of this, he now makes you terrifying, is brilliant. And then he goes to 9/9, so he's already an 8/4. He dies quite easy, but then you've got a 9/9 fantastic. And then I was thinking about, maybe making the Concerted Strike a 3 of. And maybe this a 3 of to get another 6 cost spell. And then I thought, when this game first came out, War Mothers was the card. Like, it was the schnizzle. It was the best card money can buy, which is why it is an epic. And this is an epic card. Round 12, you can drop this and you summon the top ally from each deck now, and at each round start. Their round, your round. Their round again, their round again. And half of our deck is units, just over. So 52% of this deck are units, and it will take the biggest one that it's got. If you haven't got a TryndaLux or a Lux out yet, hello. They're coming. TryndaLux straight out, pretty much. You need this. You need this, and then it just overwhelms everything. It just overwhelms everything, and you win. I've tested this 3 times, and it has done pretty damn well in each game, and I have won all 3 games. That is the deck code being clipped to my clipboard. My name is Sith Holocron. I'm from the Dongers of Runeterra. Come join us. There's a free link to our Discord in the pinned comments, and that's where you'll find the deck code too. Up until now, we always finish with the same thing. Thank you very much for watching. Thumbs up or subscribe makes all the difference in the world. Hope you enjoyed it. Dong is out.